Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with you today. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Nathan, and for inviting us. Looking at the intro video, I think we're one of the smaller fish here today. We have a bit of a different story because we're bootstrapped. I'm going to share a bit more about how we bootstrapped our form builder tool, Tally, to 50k MRR with a small team of 4. So I'm Marie, I'm the co-founder of Tally, and I'm going in the next 20 minutes show you a little bit more about how we came up with the idea, how do we grow Tally, and how do we now try to scale it with a small team. And to start at the beginning, where did it all start, right? So if I say we, maybe important, I mean myself and my co-founder Philip. He's sitting over there, maybe you can wave. Philip is a technical brain behind Tally. He's also my partner in life. He's born in Bulgaria. I was born and raised in Belgium. I have mainly a background in B2B marketing. And Philip is a full stack engineer. He has joined and also founded other startups before. And to really start at the beginning, we need to go back to 2018, to this beach in Mexico, because Tally was actually not our first startup idea. We had a completely different idea when we started. We actually wanted to build a marketplace for hotels and travel influencers, so nothing to do with forms or with no code. It kind of stayed with an idea because we were both working full-time somewhere else. Now, in 2019, Delta, which was the last startup that Philip has founded, was actually acquired by eToro. So that means we had a bit of runway and also a bit of time. And he decided to start working on Hotspot. That was our idea to launch something in travel tech. Now, we got our first customers. We also had some couple of thousand of influencers on the platform. So I also decided to quit my job and to go full-time on this project. We also always had the dream to actually live like the digital nomad lifestyle, work remotely and build a business while we were doing that. Little did we know that 2020 would be the worst time ever to launch a startup in travel. We had really bad timing. We had a little bit of revenue, but in a matter of a week, we kind of lost half of our customers. We just arrived in Bangkok because, we were gonna become digital nomads, but that didn't really happen. We had to fly back after 1 week, disappointed in an empty plane back to Belgium. Now, as I said before, we're bootstrapped, right? So we didn't really have a lot of time. We were both full-time in on this. I was also pregnant at the time, small detail. So we gave ourselves like 1 year of runway. And by the summer, we decided that we had to pivot. We had to do something else. So when we decided that, we actually started brainstorming about other ideas. And, excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. And Form Builders was actually a product that we had both used before. I used a lot of Form Builders in my previous jobs. But we had never really found a tool that we loved to use for a couple of reasons. So you have Google Forms, right? It's free, it's amazing, but we don't really like the form building experience, and we also don't like the form design of it. Then you have more well-known players like Jotform, Typeform, but they can get really expensive, especially when you're a bootstrapped founder, because they have volume-based pricing. So you collect more than 10 submissions, and you need to start paying. You hit a paywall. That's also an experience that we didn't like. So we wanted to do things a bit differently. At the same time, we were also using Notion. And Notion, is a community-first tool. People love to use it, so we thought, how can we translate that into the form building business? How can we make forms fun again? And that's kind of how we came up with the idea of Tally. This is how Tally looks like. Might be new for most of you. It has a text editor approach, so you can basically just type and insert any type of block with shortcuts. We also made it largely free, which is one of our USPs. So basically, you can access anything that you need to create, to share forms for free. And you can also collect unlimited number of submissions and create unlimited number of forms for free. And so that's actually where our story begins, and where the first section of this presentation begins. So we're situated here in the first couple of months, basically where we started building our MVP until we got our first users. Yeah, so the main question here was we didn't really have an audience. How can we find people that want to use our form builder in an already very competitive market? We're bootstrapped, we didn't have any budget, so we kind of thought, where can we find those creator startups that we were targeting? So we decided to go to Product Hunt and basically find people that had upvoted similar products, right? So we would go check, find other founders that had upvoted form building tools. We would reach out to them and do this over and over and over again for about half a year, actually. So we had contacted thousands of people by cold outreach. And that is how we found our first users in a very non-scalable way. And this actually introduced us in new communities, founders, Slack groups, also no-code communities. And that's how we found our first users. We were also scanning conversations online, mainly on Twitter, but also indie hackers, Reddit. And whenever it was relevant, we would start and pitch Tally. At the same time, we're also building in public, which means we basically share everything. We're an open startup, so we share our revenue, we share our processes, and we do this to build an audience, but also to get feedback from those first users. This also shows that we're in it for the long run, and that we're shipping fast. It also builds trust with our audience. These are just some of the examples of things that we've shared. We have a public roadmap. We are very transparent about what we're building next. We've also shared what it costs to run Tally. How does our forecast revenue template look like? We've measured our product market fit, shared those results. So all of that you can actually find on our blog. So after a couple of months, well, actually more than 6 months, we felt ready to launch our own product on Product Hunt. Now, you might wonder, why did we wait so long? Because it's such a competitive space, we really wanted to make sure that we had all the crucial features that our competitors also had. So basically, we kept on building the product, and while gathering feedback, we also found our first around 1,000 users. And so in March 21, we kind of felt ready to launch Tally on Product Hunt. We made sure that we were prepared. So we actually have this checklist that we also published. You can also find it on our website if anyone would be planning a Product Hunt launch, probably not in this room. But you never know. So what did we do? We made sure that we had a newsletter, we had social media updates, we had everything prepared to make sure that the launch went well. It was kind of a roller coaster. We were like product number 1 for 23 hours of the day, and then we kind of lost the spot in the last hour. We ended up product number 4. But that was not really important. I think the important thing was that we got tons of positive feedback that day. So we could really validate our product, and we knew we're building something that people actually want to use. We also doubled our user base from 1,500 to 3,000 people in one day. So that was really like the first kind of push of growth that we needed. All right, so that brings us to the second section. How are we actually growing Tally? And I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about the market we're active in, the model that we use, and also how our product fits into all of that. Now, important to know is that Tally has a product-led growth model. So acquisition, conversion, and retention are all primarily driven by the product itself. All right, so right now we are here on the graph, just a year and a half after our public launch, until a couple of months ago, really. So to start with the market, being a big fish in a little pond isn't really fruitful for product-led companies. So the industry and the audience needed to be big enough to support our product-led growth, since we're going to invest a lot of time and energy into lowering the activation barriers. And if we would only be selling to a couple of people, it wouldn't make sense to try to create a scalable operation. So luckily, a lot of people have done this before us. Form builders are not new. So we knew that it was demand. We knew that it was possible to build a successful business in form building. Every company needs a form, right, at some part in their journey. So we're active in a growing SME market, especially after COVID, with a growing and a focus on digitalization. And we're also riding a no-code hype or wave with more and more people adopting no-code technologies, especially to save time and costs. So all of that makes this an interesting market for us to be active in. All right, so we also, of course, needed a business model that fits this product-led growth. And because we're a bootstrap team, it was really important that the product is self-service, right? So that the barriers are low enough. There's no sign-up. You can just go to Tally.so, try it out, create a form without actually having to create an account. Now, preferably, we would also have a very transparent and low pricing. Because of the low pricing and the low budgets that we have, because we're bootstrapped, we also needed low-cost acquisition channels. So how does this theory actually translate into practice for Tally? So Tally is largely free, right? So this is kind of how our pricing page looks like. You can get everything that you need to create beautiful forms, to share them, to embed them, to integrate them with your other favorite tools for free. We also don't have a volume-based pricing, so you can create unlimited forms and submissions for free as well. So you might wonder, how do we make money? Besides our free tier, we also have Tally Pro. It's just very simple. Again, the simplicity comes back in almost everything we do. And Tally Pro is a subscription where we wrap some features like removing the Tally branding, having custom domains, team collaboration in one premium package. It's priced at $29 a month. All right, so making Tally largely free, make sure that there's no barriers to try it out. This also creates positive word of mouth about our product, which results in more free users. And free users for us are great because they actually carry a Made with Tally badge on their forms. This is an example of a form page and of a thank you page where you can see that our product is really visible. Now, doing this, and because forms are viral by nature, a lot of respondents, so you create a form to share it with people, right? The respondents also get to see our brand, and they discover Tally, and they also turn into free users. About 3% of our free users convert to Tally Pro users, which for now we have around 80,000 free customers, and 3% of those, or around 2,000 paying Tally Pro users. All right. So how does the product actually fit into all of this? Excuse me. So we needed a product that has a broad enough value proposition and that offers a lot of value and offers it really fast to our users. And to do that, we need to make sure that, first of all, we offer a lot of value for free, but we also make it really, really easy to use. So whenever we add a new feature, we make sure that we prioritize simplicity. This also limits the complexity of the product and lowers the amount of customer support, which is great, because up till now, we're still just a team of 2. Besides that, what's really important for us is that we have a laser focus on customer support. We were spending more than 50% of our time on talking to users, answering emails, answering Slack messages. And we strongly believe that this is what differentiates us from our competitors. Just a little example of why we do this. This is a Tally user that had a problem. We managed to fix it within the day. This is a result, basically a love letter about our product on LinkedIn. And this is really our formula for success. You know, we strive to give the best product experience as possible, and we turn our users into promoters. And that brings us to the last section of my presentation. How are we actually scaling Tally with such a small team? As I said before, until now we were still just a team of 2. And so now I'm really talking about the last couple of months of our journey. So concerning customer support, I just mentioned that we were putting more than 50% of our time in this. Yeah, that wasn't very scalable, of course, especially with more than 80k people worldwide using the product. So we had to hire. This was our first hire, which was really exciting for a small team to go from 2 to 3. And so we hired Richard, a great guy based in Germany, and he is now responsible for customer success. We also made sure that we have a very well thought through, elaborate help center, so everyone can basically find their answers in there. We have been building a Slack community from the start, and people can also help out each other, so that's also really a great help for us. And we automate whatever is possible. We use Make, the Zapier alternative. This is just an example for when people apply for a discount. We have discounts for startups, for non-profits as well. The whole flow is automated. People apply, we check if they are eligible, they get the right email, and so on. Then engineering, and that's more Philip's part. I'm a non-technical founder, so if you would have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to him afterwards. But as you can imagine, a free product, especially a growing one, also attracts a lot of abusers, people that use our product for phishing, to send mass emails, and so on. So we had to spend a lot of time to automate spam detection, also to scale the infrastructure to make sure everything kept on running smoothly. So Philip had to spend a lot of time on that, combining with customer support. Of course, we also had to hire someone at this front. And then we hired Ahmed, who's based in Egypt, our first engineer. And lastly, marketing, which is my department. So we're heavily relying on our product to grow, but we also feel like that we should start focusing on community-led growth, and that will kind of enable us to keep the team small while having our users helping us out with content creation, also customer support, and of course promotion. We have a couple of ideas around that, excuse me, especially to create, for example, a marketplace where people can actually make a living out of Tally, start selling templates, and also some experiments with influencer marketing. So this is us now. It started with a completely different idea on a beach in Mexico, and we're a proud team of 4 serving more than 80,000 people around the world. So for the last 20 minutes, I showed you how we came up with Tally, how we're growing it, and how we're scaling it with a bootstrap team. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be around the next day, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and enjoy the conference. Thank you.